Hello there, my beautiful friends. So I know, I am late this week with Pair Stay Away, but nonetheless, it is still here, and let me tell you, we have some freaking amazing launches to talk about today. So if you are interested in seeing this week's new makeup releases, then go ahead and keep on watching, and let's jump right on in. So let's go ahead and get started with the Ulta and Sephora and the big name brands. Let's get them all out of the way because the indie brands are where it's at this week. Let me tell you that. But nonetheless, we are getting started with something new from Lancôme, which really doesn't happen that often in my personal opinion. But this is the Monsieur Big Maxi palette. This will be coming either in April or May. We are a little bit more than halfway through April, so it's either going to come in the next 2 weeks or so, or it's just going to come in May. We don't have a date, we don't have a price yet. I can assume that this is going to be a pretty hefty penny. I mean, look at that packaging. Like, hello. That looks luxe. That looks like it cost them a lot of money to manufacture. I can imagine that this is probably going to cost an arm and a leg. Now, this is an eyeshadow palette, of course, but it's been broken up into 3 different sections. You have the Big Date, the Big Crush, and the Big Night. And the Monsieur Big line from Lancôme, I believe it originates from their Monsieur Big mascara, which I have tried, and honestly, it was pretty good, but I'm not really a mascara kind of gal, so I'm not about to spend Lancôme money on mascara. Now, this palette, on the other hand, I got tagged in this, and you know, I just know that upon looking at this palette, you already know that this is something I want. Like, it's in a heart-shaped package. Obviously, I want it for that purpose. It's filled with beautiful rosy and pink and berry tones. Obviously, I want it for that reason as well. The only thing that is just, preventing me from wanting to purchase this is that hefty price tag that we don't know of yet, the unknown number that hasn't been put out there yet, but we already know that this is going to be expensive, okay? I'm guessing 80 bucks, it could even be 100 bucks. At best, we'll probably get 70, so that's extremely expensive for eyeshadow. We've all gotten so accustomed to spending hefty amounts of money on makeup, but makeup should not be that expensive, okay? We should not be spending 80 bucks on an eyeshadow palette. I'm sorry, I've done it way too many times and wasted my money, even on great formulas, on great eyeshadows, but it's just not worth that much money. Like, that's so expensive, dude. Lancôme is an upper luxury type of brand. It's not quite as luxury as, say, Pat McGrath and the Natasha Denona, but it's pretty up there. It's pretty pricey, so until I hear that this is a reasonable, somewhat okay price point, then I'm gonna have to say no, even though it looks like it was made with myself and my wants and tastes in makeup in mind. But I can't justify spending my entire week's worth of groceries on this palette. And we already know that it's gonna cost that plus probably 20 bucks more. It kind of hurts me a little bit inside to say that I have to pass this over just because of the price point, even though we don't even know the price yet. But I just can't let myself do it. I just can't. I mean, it's beautiful and it's perfect for me, and I would love it, and I would love having it in my collection. But it's just gonna sit there, and it's just gonna be 80 bucks worth of a hunk of plastic that looks like a heart, that has colors in it that I already have. Plus, although it's absolutely stunning, I went ahead and made a DIY Valentine's Day Z palette that's literally made out of a Valentine's Day heart-shaped box, so I'm covered as far as heart-shaped eyeshadow palettes goes. At least for right now. Maybe if a cheaper option comes along the way, we might be singing a different song here, and fingers crossed, because let's be honest, I would love to have that in my collection. So speaking of adorable packaging and expensive price points, why don't we talk about the Moschino and Sephora collaboration round 2. Now, this is an entire collection by the fashion brand Moschino, which is a very luxury high-end brand. And this will be available on April 25th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So set your alarms if you want this, because I believe round 1 sold out completely and did really well for them. Now, the whole idea and the whole concept for this collection is freaking adorable. It's supposed to all be office supplies and school supplies, and we see that here. We have a bunch of different products that are literally shaped like eraser sponges, pencils, an eyeshadow palette that looks like a freaking laptop. To me, that's the standout product of the entire bunch, but everything is pretty adorable. We have little highlighter replicas that look like the little Sharpie highlighters, and we have nail polish that looks exactly like whiteout. So this is really, really cute, and you can't deny that. It's adorable. Now, I have to say, I do think this is going to be a pretty penny. I think this is going to be pretty expensive, but I don't think that this is going to be so expensive that it's unobtainable for the average person. That's basically why Moschino basically paired up with Sephora, at least in my personal opinion, that's why they did. I think it's because they wanted to make their brand, their very high-end, luxurious, like really expensive thousands of dollars for a purse kind of brand, accessible to the average person who isn't gonna drop $1,000 on a purse, which I appreciate a big brand like that doing, because thank you for remembering us normal common folk down here who can't afford to spend that much money on designer stuff. When the first round of Sephora and Moschino collections came out, it basically consisted of the Moschino bear, and a lot of people were really into that. They had these adorable little Moschino bear brushes. Those sold like freaking hotcakes. Everything sold really well, so it would make sense that they would come out with a round 2, and I think that they did above and beyond with this collection. I think it's stinking adorable. It's really cute. I just don't really see anything out of this collection that I would personally need. Although the eyeshadow palette is the cutest thing in my opinion, I don't need that right now because I have all of the colors that I would want from that palette. And even though it looks like a laptop, even though it's a collector's item, I'm trying my absolute hardest not to just buy makeup because it's cute and not to just buy it because it's a collector's item. So this kind of goes against all of my wannabe anti-consumerism viewpoints here. So I'm trying to be a little bit better about that. So even though it's cute, I don't need it. And you know, the thing that I think I would find the most practical out of this collection is those pencil brushes. I personally have been looking for some really amazing brushes on the market that are not breaking the bank. So this looks like something that possibly I could get some use out of if they're good. But I'm not just gonna buy it just because it's adorable, because I'm trying to wean myself off of that terrible, terrible habit. But I totally understand why people want this, and I understand, you know, a need for it in the market. Like I said, Moschino is remembering us common folk down here and giving us an option to feel luxurious and to feel wealthy for once. But that is everything that I have for this week as far as Ulta and Sephora and big name brands go. So let's go ahead and take a trip right on down to Indie Brand Lane here, because we have so much to talk about. I don't even think I have enough time in the day to explain all of this information and all of these releases. But let's go ahead and kick this indie makeup party off with Touch of Glam Beauty, which I think I've mentioned it before on my channel about how they're coming out with the Spring Rain collection, but we finally had the entire collection shown to us. We have a date, we have price points, we have bundle options. So I am here to cover all of that for you. So this collection will be available on April 20th, and there are 16 different shades to choose from of a brand new formula for Touch of Glam Beauty. We have some really beautiful colors in here. Now these are going to retail for $7.50 each or $11.50 for the shifter shades. Are essentially her trichromatic formulas. She's had these in her line for a while. She's had some different colors come out, but these are just new shades in that specific formula. Obviously, trichrome eyeshadows cost way more to make, so that would explain the price jump. Now there are going to be 2 different bundles. You can pick up the 13 pan bundle, which is basically just going to be all of the foiled shades. There's not going to be any shifters in them, and that will be $90.50. Then you can pick up the 16 pan bundle, of course with the shifters, and it comes with a Z palette, pretty nifty, and that will be $125. But you can use the code TOGB in all caps for 15% off, which obviously is Touch of Glam Beauty's code. Now I think it's pretty obvious that I'm picking some of these up. You know, I already mentioned how I wanted to pick up Seduce Me, which is that beautiful baby pink that shifts to a lime green. There's also a shade called Pink to Me, I believe, and it is a kind of violet-y based purple that also shifts to a hot pink, like freaking right up my alley, right? And I literally just opened up Instagram to look for the description of this next shade, and legitimately I'm just mesmerized by the first post that I see, which is of Hawaiian Skies, which is the shade that I was looking for coincidentally. But Hawaiian Skies is a coral based eyeshadow that basically shifts from a coral to a green to a gold to a blue and to a purple, which is insane in my opinion, but I will go ahead and pop up the picture that I am currently staring at. It is absolutely beautiful, and I absolutely have to get my hands on this. Like, I'm already thinking of ways that I can use this in my looks and incorporate it into my everyday eyeshadow routine. Like, it is that beautiful that I'm ready to incorporate it and introduce it into everything that I use every day. Thinking back, I probably sound really manic and insane about this, but I'm just really excited for this collection. I'm excited for everything I'm about to talk about here in the indie section of Pay or Stay Away. I can't really contain myself, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm a little bit extra giddy. So this next launch is for sure one I've talked about quite a few times here on my channel, but we finally got the dates, the prices, the bundles. We got all the information we need about this launch, and trust me, there is a lot, so I'm going to be serving it all to you on a silver platter here. And I'll serve it with a slice of apple pie because I know this is going to be a lot of information thrown at you all at once. But of course, you know I'm talking about the Clionadh Cosmetics Multi-Chromes. Now, I have been raving about these since I saw the first swatch photo. Since I basically heard about them, I have been so freaking excited because what they have come out with here is basically everything I've ever wanted a brand to come out with. They have a bunch of different formulas of multi-chromes, and multi-chromes have been out for a while, but we haven't really seen different textures and different varieties of multi-chromes, but Clionadh Cosmetics is changing the game here. Now, they are going to be offering 4 different types of multi-chromes. The glitter multi-chrome, obviously the one I'm most excited about, the iridescent multi-chrome, which I am also extremely excited about, the jewel multi-chrome, and the soft pastel jewel multi-chrome. Now, these are all going to be available on April 30th. We don't have a time yet, like fingers crossed that they give us a time, because I need to be on the website the second that these drop because I need to get the colors that I want, or I'm going to throw a fit and I'm going to be very upset. Just kidding, I will do my absolute best to not throw a fit, but no promises if I don't end up getting my hands on some of those glitter multi-chromes. So let's talk pricing and bundles and all that jazz for those of you who are interested in this collection and want the rundown. But let's go ahead and get this started here with their jeweled multi-chromes, which are their deeper toned, jewel toned multi-chromes. Now, these are going to retail individually for $25 Canadian, which is around $18.70 if you live in the US. Sounds like a lot, but all of these multi-chromes that are out on the market are around $18 either way, so that's pretty standard when it comes to this type of eyeshadow. Now, you can pick them up individually, but there is going to be a maximum of 2 shades per customer because, you know, they are an indie brand. They only make so much at one time. Or you can pick up 6 different shades in the rainbow set, which will retail for $140 Canadian, which is about $105 USD. Or you can pick up all 17, which will retail for $374 Canadian, which is around $281 USD. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite formulas from this little collection here, the iridescent glitter ones, which are absolutely freaking beautiful. Now, these are going to retail for $10.50 Canadian or $7.80, which is in the US dollar. So not that expensive. Obviously, these take less materials to make because the pigment isn't so saturated. Or if you want to be bold and pick up 3 of the glitters, they're going to come in an iridescent glitter trio, which will retail for $28 Canadian, which is approximately $20.90 if you live in the US like me, which is what I personally am going to be doing because I have to get my hands on all 3 of those iridescent glittery goodness beautiful shades. Then we have the glitter multi-chromes, which in my personal opinion are the most beautiful of the bunch. Honestly, they are probably the prettiest eyeshadows I've ever seen in my entire life. But this is where we get into the insane amount of information being told to you right now, so this is your one warning. But these are going to retail for $10 Canadian, which is about $7.50 if you live in the US like me. That will be excluding 3 different shades, which are Carving, Blaze, and Translucency, which will all be $8.20 each. Now, there's also 2 other shades, Chandelier and Stencil, which are going to retail for $12, and you can get a maximum of 2 shades per customer, including the bundles. Now let's discuss the bundles as far as this goes. Now, the Glitter Multi-Chrome Ultra Bundle, which will have 22 different pieces, will retail for $195 Canadian, which is $146 USD. Now, the Glitter Multi-Chrome Custom Bundle, which is going to be 6 pieces, this is what I'm going to be getting. This is going to retail for $50 Canadian, which is $37.50 USD. Now finally, we have the complete multi-chrome bundle, which is a cross formula bundle. You can kind of pick and choose. You can get a pastel jewel, you can get a jewel, glitter multi-chrome. You can kind of pick and choose from the different formulas. This is going to retail for 68 Canadian, which is 51 USD. That was a lot of information to give at you. We have one more formula to talk about, and that is the pastel jewel formula. Now these are going to retail for $19 Canadian, which is $14.20 USD, and those are two specific shades. So two shades out of this bunch are going to be $14.20, and that is Tower and Keystone. Now Cathedral and Turret are going to retail for $14 Canadian, which is $10.50 USD. The final bundle that they have to offer is the Pastel Quad of 4, which will retail for $58 Canadian, which is $43.40 USD. I know that was an insane amount of information being thrown at you at once, but I really hope that that cleared up some of these prices and these bundles. You know, we have some things in here that are a little bit confusing. We have different prices for different shades, and that's all because of the way the shade was made and how much product it took, how many different steps they had to take to make that shade. That is why we have so many different prices. So I hope that was able to help you and that it wasn't just a bunch of gibberish. Yeah, it's a lot to tell you at once, and I'm sure it's a lot to retain at once. So my suggestion is, if you're interested in getting some of these, if you want some of the bundles, write it down, get yourself a little list, and be prepared for the launch, because I'm sure everything is going to sell out super quick. That's what I've done. I have a little list going for what I want, the prices, basically everything mapped out for me. This way my actual shopping experience isn't completely jumbled up and terrible. But I'm a little winded after that last one, but we have one more release to talk about, which is one of my absolute favorite indie brands, legitimately. Like, my birthday's on the 27th, and all of these brands are coming out with these beautiful products that look like they were made with me in mind. Not actually, that sounds real cocky, but you know what I'm saying. They look like they just fit my needs and my makeup wants so well, and they're all coming out right before my freaking birthday. But nonetheless, this is Give Me Glow Cosmetics, which you guys know I love and adore, and they're coming out with some new foiled eyeshadows. Now these will be available on April 26th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I believe that's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and obviously I'm picking some of these up. Now these are going to retail for $7 each, which is just their normal basic single shadow standard price point, and they are coming out with some really beautiful shades here that I really feel like their line was missing. Now I have pink frosting from them, which is a bit more of a warm toned reddish pink, and I've always wanted a super icy pink from them because it's something I haven't seen them come out with. Well, they have answered my prayers, and they are coming out with a gorgeous cool toned icy pink called Princess Pink, which the name is just perfect. They are also coming out with Wednesday, which is a classic hot pink, which I'm going to be getting to, and finally a pink glitter called Daydream. Like, hello, obviously I have to pick those three up. They are also coming out with some really pretty shades like Going Bananas, a super bright yellow. They have How High, a weed looking kind of burnt foresty green. They have Ultra Violence, which is a gorgeous kind of indigo-y purple, which I don't know about you, but that reminds me of the Lana Del Rey song Ultra Violence, which I'm a-okay with. But these are absolutely beautiful, and I am for sure getting the pink ones, and I will be adding those to my ever-expanding collection of Give Me Glow Cosmetics eyeshadows. And that's okay. I'm excited about it, and I am really excited for when all of these amazing launches, after I purchase them, for when they come in. We are going to have so many videos to do here on my channel, like, just you wait. It's going to be insane, but a good kind of insane. Alright folks, I have been chatting here for way too long. I am completely winded. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but let me know in the comments, what are you excited for this week, and what are you gonna be purchasing? Are you gonna be getting any of the same stuff I am? I'm sure some of you guys are gonna be getting some of those last few releases because they are absolutely beautiful. You can't deny that. But if you are not already subscribed and you would like to be, I do Pay or Stay Away usually every single Monday. For some reason it's going up way late this week, but I'm pretty good with being on time with things, so usually it's every Monday. So if you're interested in being in the loop with all of these new makeup releases, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed the video, then I would absolutely love it if you gave me a big old thumbs up. It helps out the channel, it helps out me here, so if you choose to do so, then I greatly appreciate you. But with that being said, I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing and beautiful day wherever you are, and thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope to see you next time. Bye!